Hi, I'm John from UNIXSurplus, and today we're going to look at our Sun X2200 M2 1U dual Opteron server. This server was built for Sun, by Sun, to really compete with all the other clone boxes that were coming out there. It's a follow-on to the Sun V20Z, which is a really popular machine with 2 hard drive bays and 2 Opteron processors. When Solaris 10 came out, Sun made their X86 move. That X86 movement was what drove all of Solaris 10. They had to switch away from SPARC processors to Intel-based processors. Of course, Intel never really supported them, so they went with AMD Intel-compatible processors. So let's take a look inside our X2200 and go over a few of its features. So on the front of the machine here, we have 2 3.5-inch SATA hot swap buys. It's actually got a SATA 2 controller, so it'll support up to 2 terabyte or 3 terabyte drives. Currently, our system comes with 2 500 gig drives. You have a DVD drive in the front, you have 2 blower fans, and 2 Opteron's 2000 series CPUs. These can be the 2356 quad core, which is very common, or the faster 3 gigahertz dual core with a faster clock rate. What really makes this machine and sets it apart is all of the memory sockets you have. You have full 16 memory sockets, so you can fill this thing with 4 gig sticks and still get 64 gigs. Another great thing about this server is it's got PCIe slots and it's got a dual riser. It's really hard to find in a lot of these machines. A lot of things don't have the PCIe buses anymore. It's not PCI-X, the long thing, it's the new narrow PCIe, PCI Express slots. This makes it for all the modern fast cards that you want to add in for I/O. So you got a lot of I/O in this one little 1U package. Other things it uses a Broadcom gigabit Ethernet chip, dual ports on the back, and then it has dual management ports by Marvell too. The single power supply is the only option that it supports, and the motherboard is actually made by Sun, so you get full firmware updates from Sun and you get full patches. The system is registered compatible with VMware, with Windows, all the versions of Windows, and also Sun SPARC Solaris. So let's power our machine on and see what happens. It's actually quite noisy when it goes into high power mode. There's a power switch right here in the front. If you plugged it in, it'll remember its last power statement. But you can see how noisy the fans are. You can almost not hear me. It'll help a lot when we close it. It's these 2 blower fans. But quickly it goes into low blower mode with low power. This machine actually takes a long time to boot, so we're going to edit that out and show you on the screen. So now that we're booting, we're in the Sun Microsystems boot screen. We're going to hit the setup button, which usually drops us to the AMI in the back. You're going to see from here you'll be able to catch the processors and memory configuration before it boots. You can also see them later on in setup. One of the reasons that this takes a little bit longer to support is the BMC, which is different than the standard system RSC that Sun uses on the other machines. It takes a little bit longer to boot, it's got a little bit different features, and it was the more supposedly feature-rich boot management. Boot management console versus RSC, remote system controller. Remote system controllers are usually in the SPARC machines. So we can see the processors here. We're seeing at 2.6 gigahertz, 4 of them here. There are 4 cores total, 16 gigs of memory. Just general, everything that you're going to find in here too. The exact full system information, which is what pops up on the screen over there. 2 Broadcom NICs. You also have the NVIDIA gigabit Ethernet NICs. The Broadcoms are used in management. You can also configure those, I believe, to boot. Everything you want here as far as boot configuration, power management, etc., etc. One thing I'd like to point out is the machine has gotten a lot quieter now that we've put it running it for a little while. So after boot, we have the options here of the 3 different Ethernet ports. 2 of them are Broadcom gigabit Ethernet, 1 of them is NVIDIA. 1 of them is used by the BMC boot management. So that's our X2200 M2 server. Now we're going to compare it to a few other machines. So we're looking at the V20Z, the X2200's replacement. This is an older SCSI system that still has the exact same configuration. Typically, to open these guys with a push button, you want to go forward first so that you can activate the button and then push the system back. This was a new assist reference system. You can see it's a much bigger system board with a lot more power. Still 2 Opteron systems, a CD, 2 disk drive bays, but only 4 memory sockets. 2 full length, 1 full length and 1 half length PCI slot with 1 single power supply. So this is the guy's predecessor. It's still a really good system with the Opteron processors and the Solaris 10 support. Things that were really lacking were SCSI hard drives only usually go up to 300 gigs and enough memory sockets to run high power memory. A cute note on the V20Z is that it uses these VRM modules, which kind of went out of favor. These were voltage regulator modules for the CPUs. It was designed so you could put different voltage cores. Now everything's pretty much as low voltage as you can. It also had these external memory voltage regulators, so you could run either 1.5 or, 2 volt or 3.3 volt DDR1, which was the different voltages at the time. Uses DDR1 registered ECC memory. So I hope you enjoy our tour of both the Sun X2200 M2 and the V20Z. The V20Z is a little bit old, but it's on our $99 server page. And UNIXSurplus is the home of the $99 server. You can order any of these machines at UNIXSurplus.com or by calling us at 877-UNIX123.